Welcome to Brawl Time, the show where we bring you up to speed on all the monthly finals news and storylines across every region in this year's competition. We'll be taking a look back at who caused the greatest upsets, which rivals clashed and where, and who are the biggest underdogs that you need to keep a very close eye on this year. We kicked off the season in the SCSA and ANZ region, home to the 2020 World Champions, who this year are competing on opposing teams. Despite a promising start for FA Sky in the quarterfinals upper bracket against Draconic Esports, they were no match for FA Upper Moon and had to settle for 58 points after their 3-0 defeat. And with the top two teams, we've got ourselves a rivalry alert. With CCK parting ways this year from his former teammates Coup d'Ace and Response, we got ourselves a fresh new rivalry in the SCSA and ANZ region between Free-Win Agents and FA Upper Moon. In a post-match interview, Response went as far to say that playing up against his former teammate was the most nervous that he'd ever been in his entire career, which, coming from a former world champion, just goes to show that this rivalry is just getting started. After an incredible performance, it was Coup d'Ace and Response's team at Free-Win Agents that came out on top and secured 108 points on the leaderboard.
Coup d'Ace gonna be advancing forward, gonna get the quarter shot and a goal. That's gonna be your monthly finalist champions.
And this just in. After the monthly finals, we got word that Instinct from FA Upper Moon was going to be crossing over to join Free-Win Agents. So what that will mean for him and his team next finals, we'll have to wait and see. In LATAM South, it was AC Milan Clash that came out on top, whereas it was a tough month for Zero Zone, KIB Esports, Zacron Gaming, and Chazmac Gaming BR, who did not move past the quarterfinal matchups and finished 5th to 8th. Without doubt, the biggest upset in LATAM South came with the swift exit of Chazmac Gaming BR, who went out in straight sets to AC Milan Clash.
And AC Milan Clash are going to the semis.
Chazmac roster competed as INTZ last year, made up of world finalists Tufa, Marcel, Firecrow, and Adinio. Considering their consistency in LATAM South last year, not to mention a 3rd and 4th place finish at the World Finals, this undoubtedly came as a huge blow. Arena Casito displayed great promise this month and were the only team to take a set away from AC Milan Clash. In the end, however, it was AC Milan Clash which were the dominant team in this region, but Arena Casito can be proud of a 2nd place finish and chalk up 79 points on the leaderboard in the process. After winning the 2021 World Finals, all eyes were on East Asia to see how Zeta Division would start off the season. The organization doubled down this year by splitting the champions of last year into 2 separate teams under the same franchise, dubbed Zeta Division 1 and Zeta Division 0. Will the new rosters spell success? We'll have to wait and see, but I don't think any of us expected to see that clash happen in the first match of the day. In what was the closest of all the quarterfinal matchups, it was Zeta Division 1 who knocked out Zeta Division 0, leaving them with only 42 points on the leaderboard and a lot of catching up to do in the future. In the semi-finals, it was Rising Sun Esports that had a fantastic performance and pulled off the reverse sweep against We Need Sponsor, but in a flip of fortunes in the grand final, they actually found themselves being reverse swept by Zeta Division 1 and had to settle for 2nd place.
3v1 here, and that is going to do it. A nice little spin for the win.
With the most World Finals spots across any of the regions, EMEA is never short of some intense competition. In the upper bracket, OGS and FA Baguette struggled against Tribe Gaming EU and Team Kesu respectively. Hubble and Craze Clan were also sent home early and joined them below the 50-point mark. And in the other side of the bracket, there are some big roster shakeups that we've got to talk about. Skarx and Jeton left SK Gaming and joined Asta to form STMN EU. A huge move by the organization in their hope to qualify 2 teams this year. Former AC Milan Clash stars Guille and Ikeas have joined Semantic this year to form SK Gaming's roster, giving us somewhat of a mashup between friends as well as old rivals. It was SK Gaming, however, that threw down the gauntlet early on and took this win fairly comfortably, leaving STMN in 4th place with only 62 points to their name. Tribe Gaming EU's performance this month was looking absolutely flawless, and they found themselves on match point against SK Gaming in the grand finals, but SK never gave up. With a lot of good team talk over at the SK Gaming house between rounds and a lot of very smart drafts, they were able to pull off an impressive reverse sweep, depriving Tribe Gaming EU of a win they've been searching for since July of 2020.
15 seconds left on the clock, not even, and Tribe need to score, or the reverse sweep is gonna come true here for the first monthly final of this year. For EMEA, time is running out. Tom goes for the shot, but oh, Semantic just barely catches it, and that's gonna be it.
We finished out the month in North America and LATAM North, a region that this year received an additional world qualification spot, so expectation levels are at an all-time high. But sheesh, did they deliver? We simply have to talk about Avengers, as rarely does a team of fresh faces to the BSC make such an impactful debut. Killer in particular lived up to his name with some impeccable pop-offs with Fang and an ability to play Ashe that spread genuine fear throughout the region. Any team capable of taking Tribe Gaming NA to match point in a grand final is capable of greatness in our book. We saw the classic Tribe Gaming NA battle with STMN in the lower bracket semi-finals, where this time Tribe Gaming NA took a convincing 3-1 victory, leaving STMN then in 3rd place with 60 points. And after a valiant attempt by Avengers in what was arguably one of the most intense grand finals of the month, Tribe Gaming NA scraped through a double match point to secure 1st place for March and 110 points in the region.
Batushi's pops the super, trying to get in position, even phase shifts forward, but now it's a 3v1. Killer gets stunned up, the shot, oh, the shot gets past the Zulan. Look at the mechanics, the finish is there from Livy though.
Which teams impressed you the most, and who will you be rooting for next month? Let us know, and be sure to cheer for your favorite teams over at event.brawlstars.com when they next compete.